What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man, and tonight I have a special guest for you, pro strongman Anthony San Lorenzo, better known as maybe the best nickname on all of Instagram, Muscles Marinara.
Ciao, homie.
Welcome back to My Block's Strongest Man, where we bring strongman into the mainstream by discussing all of the latest strongman events in the greatest analytic detail that you'll find anywhere on YouTube. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to this channel. Make sure to comment below whether you agree or disagree with my videos. I love the engagement, and I respond to every single comment. Now on to today's topic. Hey, Anthony, how are you? Thanks for joining me this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be part of the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to have you for sure. So for people who don't know you, you're a 105 kilogram pro strongman, 2020 middleweight national champion. So what I like to do is I give people a chance at the beginning to start off by brag about your accomplishments a little bit.
So my first nationals was 2017. I've competed at SC Nationals 2017, 18, 19, 20. I did USS Nationals 2018, a three-time Arnold qualifier, co-middleweight national champion. Shout out to Justin Loy. He's an awesome athlete. I earned my pro card this past fall. I've been doing strongman since 2016. Right now, I'm helping coach at a gym called Blacklist in Centennial, Colorado. Really enjoying the experience there. Yeah, that's kind of it right now.
Awesome. A bunch of stuff that I have more questions about later. That's cool. Sure. So what, in your experience, kind of what are the main differences between SC and USS, like event-wise or just overall experience-wise?
I think because USS takes top three, that place at a local contest to their nationals, where SC takes the first place. Generally, SC is a little bit more competitive. However, USS does really offer some really cool opportunities for advancement, opportunities to compete at SCL, things like that, where, SC has the opportunity to compete at the Arnold and win the pro card. So it really just depends on what your goals are and how you, want to move throughout the sport.
Okay, and then SCL is an international thing. Didn't Ivar Smokstelis win that one year?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it is an international thing, Strongman Champions League. It's a little bit bigger in Europe. It's something I've always wanted to do. Buddy of mine, John Cotton, and Darren Helmetis, they won the heavyweight subdivisions in 2018. They got to compete at SCL. So it's always been a dream of mine to do an SCL show. Yeah,
for sure. You'll get there for sure. So you're originally from my home state of New Jersey. Now, I don't talk on YouTube about exactly where I am, but you know where I am.
Sure,
and I share that with my buddies. So I was just wondering, you're out in Colorado now. Compare and contrast the culture differences between New Jersey and Colorado.
Well, I grew up in Jersey. I lived there until I was 18. I came out to Colorado to go to Colorado State. So I moved here in 2008. So I've been here like 13 years, a long time now. East Coast is definitely a little more fast paced. I like that Colorado's a little bit more relaxed. I like that the traffic isn't as bad. I feel like people aren't like down your throat as much. People are usually a little bit nicer. I love New Jersey. I visit 2-3 times a year. Nice. All my friends and family from high school are still there. And, I love it, but I love where I am now.
You ever walk down the street, run into Brian Shaw?
Yeah. I trained with Brian Shaw for about 1.5 years. I was one of his training partners. That was really cool. It was a really good opportunity to learn and have access to all this equipment that, nobody really has access to. And with Brian, if he wanted something, he just got it. So if something was coming up for a contest and he needed a piece of equipment, he went out and got it. And it was cool to, play with some really interesting equipment that I've never used before, and use that opportunity to kind of learn as much as I could and soak as much in as I possibly could. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What's one of those pieces of equipment I'm interested to learn?
Oh man, he had like a dozen circus dumbbells. He had a back attack, which I've never seen at a public gym before. He had a ship chain. I mean, each link had to be
whoa
that big. I mean, and there was probably 8 or 9 links. I bet each link was 100 pounds plus. I've just never seen anything like that. He had a Conan's wheel Viking press combo, every size Atlas stone, like you name it, he had it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I was digging into your background a little bit, and you played a bunch of sports growing up. Kind of talk us through that evolution. It seemed like at different ages you went from one to another to another. Just talk us through kind of what prompted that, and maybe which one did you like the best?
Well, growing up, I played football 3rd to 8th grade. In high school, I got really into lacrosse. So I played lacrosse 4th to 12th grade. I was a starting varsity goalie, which is a little bit different than strongman. It was a little bit more mental than physical, as compared to some of those guys that are running around on the field. But it was something I really enjoyed. In college, I didn't really play any sports. I kept working out, but I really didn't find competitive lifting until, after college. I was going to the gym. It was getting monotonous. It was getting boring. I was like, how can we make this more interesting? I got into powerlifting. So 2013, I started getting into powerlifting, competed a couple of times. And then I did my first strongman show in 2016. It was at a little gym up in Greeley, Colorado called Team Tom. That's no longer there anymore. But I was so new to the sport. They had Robert Oberst there. I didn't even know who he was. People were taking pictures with him, and I was like, who's this guy? Like, who cares? And looking back on it now, I was like, oh, maybe I should have gotten a photo. But yeah, so I really kind of feel like I found my passion with strongman. It's super fun. I've just really gotten into it the last 5 years or so. So it's kind of really taken off.
Yeah, I mean, especially with people who have done powerlifting and then strongman, I like to ask kind of what are the main differences between the two?
I like the variety. I like that all the lifts change depending on what the contest is. Powerlifting, it kind of got boring. It was the same 3 lifts over and over again. I like that you can kind of use a powerlifting style training to get better at strongman, but then you kind of pepper in those strongman events. So during the week I kind of lift like a power lifter, and then on the weekends is when we usually do more event specific training.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty common among strongmen, right? Like I follow IG and I see lots of deadlifting and whatnot, and then it's like today's event day, they call it, right? So
yeah. Usually Saturday's event day, and it's when all like the strongman crew gets together, and it's usually when I have the most fun with my training is on Saturdays.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I've asked, lots of competitors, both male and female, and they all seem to have the same feedback. Like we watched World's Strongest Man, for example, right? And they had a little bit on the Facebook page. And from a fan's perspective, you say, well, Colin Bryce is changing everything around on them. Who the hell is he? And the more strong men I talk to and strong women, it sounds like they like the surprise. It's like the part of the intrigue of the sport is I don't know what I'm going to encounter, but I'm going to be ready for what I'm not ready for kind of thing. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the fun of it. Certain gyms or certain competitions have different equipment, a different log, different circus dumbbells, different stones have different feels, different textures. Everything is different depending on the show, and I think it kind of creates this level playing field where if you haven't touched that specific equipment before, it's just who is better at that movement. So I like the variety. I like how, I personally have several different circus dumbbells. Different dumbbells have different feels, and it's part of what makes it fun. It makes it interesting.
Yeah, and I actually did. Let me see if I can share this. So there's one of your posts. There's one of your posts where you're doing a circus, and I have a question because first you posted it very fast, and then next you posted it in slow motion.
Sure.
And I was really intrigued by the slow motion one. Let's see.
Sure.
Is that sharing? Can you see that?
Yep. Yeah, I can see that.
All right. So that's your Mauser. Let me roll down to your circus for a moment. This one, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll see when it goes into this. First of all, like this effect is awesome. I don't know how you did this, but this is incredible.
Yeah,
and,
I thought it was kind of cool that I could even do that.
Yeah, and so my question is, like, you are coming off the ground. Is that intentional, or is that just the momentum's carrying you?
No, that's absolutely intentional. I think that with circus dumbbell, it's a common misconception that it is a shoulder press lift, and it's not a shoulder press lift. It's a leg drive lift with shoulder stability. If you're not coming off the ground, if you're not using your power from your lower body to lift that dumbbell, it's not going anywhere. So coming off the ground, absolutely intentional. Absolutely intentional.
Okay, like I've been trying to learn. I don't have an actual circus, but I got some fat grips and put it on a regular dumbbell. So I would like to learn. What tips would you have for me to kind of train myself to do well in a a circus style grip dumbbell?
Let's see. There's kind of a couple cues that I like to use. I think that the most important part is you kind of find a spot where that dumbbell is comfortable on your shoulder, right? And it kind of can be anywhere where your elbow is going to be all the way out or forward, kind of anywhere in here that you feel most comfortable and most confident under the weight. Shift your hips in the direction of that dumbbell. So I'm lefty, right? So if I'm going to put that dumbbell on my left shoulder, you want to shift your hips underneath that dumbbell, kind of create the center of gravity from your, in my case, from your left leg all the way up through your left hip, left shoulder, and then eventually up into the air. So you kind of create that push off that left side of your body, or, if you're righty, off your right side of your body. But, creating that center of gravity, creating that line, it just gives you a much more powerful lift.
That's interesting. So it never occurred to me to shift my center of gravity, but that makes total sense.
Yeah. That lift started going up for me when I figured out how to do that. Maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but that definitely worked for me.
Yeah, honestly, for me, like I just started trying to do it, and for me, it gets away from me already. So I already have to kind of work on that portion of the movement first.
Right. Yeah. And if you kind of let that shoulder dip as you come back up, it'll kind of get away from you, as you were saying. So it's important to keep that dumbbell, keep that weight over your center of gravity, and shifting the hips is a really easy way to kind of do that.
Okay, cool. And then while we were looking at your IG there, I saw you had a Mauser block also. So they're pretty rare these days. How'd you get your hands on one of them?
Tanneray Manthe, she's the owner of Blacklist, the only female pro in Colorado. She had it. She just opened this gym up this past year. So she had one there. I don't know how she got it or where she got it, but it's nice that she has it because I'm using it to train for Clash on the Coast. So
I'm going to ask you about that one later too, but hey, let's just take your segues. Why not? So how did you find out about Clash on the Coast?
Invited by Anthony Furman. He initially invited 12 people kind of based on their merits this past year and, their experience in the sport. Because of how well I did it at Nationals, I got an invite, which I feel like it's something that not a lot of people will get to go through in their lives, where they get invited to kind of a high level show like that, where these are all people that I've been looking up to in the sport since I started, and now I'm competing against them. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, Anthony himself is middleweight like you, right?
Correct.
Yeah. That's cool. So is that a full set of events? Because I know there's some record breakers going on there too.
Yeah, so the record breakers are for the heavyweight guys, from my understanding. They're kind of always updating things. But yeah, Anthony was setting it up where they're going to do that log press, American log press record. Who's invited? Tyler Cotton, a couple other people, with really good overhead presses to try to set that American log press record. And then the 105K guys, that's kind of the main show.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, some of the women are going too. So Corey Butler's going, trying to do the overhead axle press record, and Jessica Fitton's going too. Both people I've interviewed.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. They're both awesome. They're very nice. Yeah, and very accomplished. Jessica's going for a 185 circus on her offhand because she has elbow problems on her good arm.
Sure.
Imagine that.
That's really impressive. Yeah, I met her 2017 Nationals. She was super cool. And she's come really far in the sport. So it's really cool to see kind of people that you've, met years ago kind of really coming up and being, at the top of the sport now. So
yeah, absolutely.
It was an honor to have been one of the initial 12 invited to Clash on the Coast. Competing against guys like Sean DeMarinis, Johnny Mazzico, Gary Pachowski, all these people that I've, Nick Camby, all these guys that I've, kind of looked up to and kind of been chasing, for years, and now competing against them, it's like a dream come true. It's really cool.
That's awesome. Is that a show that Anthony puts on every year?
So this is the first year he's doing it.
Okay.
He really is trying to give some more exposure to the 105K guys. And I think, him having the platform that he does, him kind of creating this show for guys like us is really, really cool. So it's just an honor to be part of it.
Walk us through a little bit more of a detailed story of how you got your pro card. Like, how did you get yourself into a position to earn that and kind of go through and be successful there?
I started training from home. Slowly, piece by piece, I kind of put this home gym together. First thing I got was a piece of stable matting, a power bar, and a pair of 45s. And that's how my home gym started. And then it kind of grew from there. You know, I got a rack, I got more plates, I got this and that. So I started training at home. And then I got hooked up with Terry Rady. He was coaching some of the girls from Blacklist, and I met him through there. And, you know, we really kind of just hit it off, and his coaching really worked well for me. Went to nationals this past year with the hopes that the pro card was a possibility. You know, I'd been to nationals 4 times. I was kind of ready for it. All of the events just were really good events for me, except for the sandbag toss. You know, deadlift's a really strong event for me. Husfelstone, yoke, log press is a pretty strong event for me. So, you know, all of the events were kind of in my favor. The only one I didn't do great on was that sandbag toss. I missed the last bag. It was a 50-pound bag over, I think it was 15 feet. Everything else went fairly well, though. So, you know, it was just all the stars kind of aligned for me this year. And there's plenty of excellent athletes out there that are definitely at that level and capable of doing that. I think that it just worked out for me this year. You know, and it can definitely work out for other people. They just got to keep working towards it.
Yeah, that's great. That's inspirational for sure. And especially, I don't know if you've ever heard of Garage Gym Life Media. He's a buddy of mine. And he highlights a lot of athletes that work out of their garages and out of home. And, you know, so what you say is kind of inspirational to a lot of people who think they can't make it to a certain level, just at least starting from home or even working. I think Stan Carradine still works out from home now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's still in his garage. I'm actually judging a contest with him next month.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's going to be cool. But yeah, he still works out in his garage. Plenty of people kind of in the Colorado area. I know a few people that have garage gyms, and, you know, we have a pretty good lifting community here, and everybody kind of supports each other. So it's cool to kind of go to other people's garage gyms and check stuff out.
Yeah, for sure. I actually found out about Stan from a Mammoth Strain Challenge that recently happened. I did the official after show for that on my channel. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to watch. Did you happen to catch that show at all?
I kind of got highlights. I also know about a good friend of mine, Steve Foshin. He had a pretty bad injury at that show. He had a double quad tendon tear.
That's terrible.
Yeah. My understanding is there's a GoFundMe to help out his medical bills floating around the internet somewhere.
Okay.
I'll post a link to that or something. But, you know, he's a really, really great guy. He's been a big, you know, inspiration for the strongman community here in Colorado. And, yeah, he had a pretty bad injury at that show. But I think they were going for a max axle press at that show. Am I correct?
There were a few record breakers. So there was Axel, there was Mauser, there was I don't know if you saw it, so I don't know how much we should talk about it, but there was a sandbag that I have some certain feelings about. But yeah, so several record breakers and then full events as well. They had Highland Games there too. It was really a lot going on.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got some highlights from, you know, Instagram and stuff, but I didn't watch anything, you know, formally.
Yeah. By the way, if you have that link, shoot it over to me. I'll definitely share it. It's a great cause. Yeah. And sorry to hear that's a pretty bad injury.
Yeah. I mean, he's in really good spirits. I think he's going to heal up and, you know, he's going to keep killing it.
I learned a whole ton of great stuff from you. Great training tips, stuff about your background, your kind of rise through the ranks, a lot of wonderful stuff. So I think we'll wrap it up now. What I love to do at the end is kind of give you a chance to tell people how they can follow you, anything you like to promote. I don't know if you're sponsored, but anything you want to share or promote, feel free.
You can follow me on Instagram at _muscles marinara. I'm sponsored by Cerberus Strength and bulk supplements. Cerberus Strength, they got excellent you know, lifting equipment, wrist wraps, belts, stuff like that, and then bulk supplements. You can get really inexpensive, really affordable supplements from their website. Blacklist is a great gym here in Denver, started by my friend Tanneray Manthe. She's the only pro female in the state. Check out Clash on the Coast. It's going to be a really cool show. Definitely want to help promote that. That's it, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, great stuff. A lot of great stuff. Awesome. So I really appreciate you jumping on. I had a wonderful time, and maybe we catch up again after Clash at the Coast.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Anthony. I appreciate it, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much.
So if you like this video and haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing using that button right there. And also, stay tuned for some other videos that you might love blooping up right there. This one is the one that YouTube thinks that you will like the best, and this one is the one that I think you will like the best. As always, share this with everyone, and until next time, ciao, homie.